just talking about the future, but building it face to face. We don't equal permission. We don't grow alone. Every conversation matters. Every seed we've sown. This is elevate your growth, where the vision gets louder, but we rise together, and the moon makes you stronger. Pull up the seat you belong.
Well, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. Or you want me to start?
All right, we are live, Shay. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Growth Access. We are here with the incredible Shay Brown. He is going to be, breaking down the sales department and how to build a system that doesn't just depend on you and how to build revenue with it. So we're going to kick it to you, my friend.
Well, let me first say hello to everyone who's watching. And let me just acknowledge you first. Acknowledge you for the winner that you are. Acknowledge you for the champion that you are. And acknowledge you for just showing up. Part of life is just showing up, by the way. And you're here to elevate your growth. I want to do a special shout out to the one and only Alexandra for having this platform that she could just really do one thing. She could talk about herself. She could step back and talk about all the wonderful things that she's doing, how she's changing businesses, how she's shifting lives, and how she's making this world a much better place. But instead, she's opened up a place to collaborate. And one of the things that I love to share is that collaboration crushes competition. If you're taking notes and you just showed up and you're here right now, thanks for showing up. Let me go ahead and say this: collaboration crushes competition. So let me first thank the one and only Alexandra Nicole for having us here, for having this platform, and for having a place in a space that allows us to come together in partnership, that allows us to come together working as one. And our only mission is to serve. So thank you. Now, if you're watching right now, or you even listening to me live right now, or if you're listening to the recording, if you're right-handed, take your right hand. And if you're left-handed, take your left hand. And do me a favor, just pat yourself on the back right now. And just silently acknowledge yourself for the champion that you are, for the winner that you are. Because only champions are here right now. Only winners are here right now. Only the people who believe that they have the potential inside of them to perform at a much higher level. Not only do they know they have the potential to do it, but they're willing to do something about it. So right now, you, my friend, you are a champion, you're a winner, and you have true greatness inside you. And I have two outcomes for our time today, just two outcomes. My number one outcome is to provide value, to share at least one idea that you could use inside of your sales department that will help you build revenue without you. And I want you to think about that for a moment. Build revenue without you. Now, we were all live right now. I might say, stand up right now if you got into business to change at least one life. And typically, whether it's virtual or live, and right now we are virtual, but if we were virtual and I said stood up, you would see everyone stand up right now. Because I believe most of you, if not all of you, are here to change lives. Now, it could be someone's life personally. It could be in their marriage. It could be in their relationship. It could be for their family. It could be at their work environment, or maybe it's changed their business as well. Or maybe it's changed their organization, or maybe it's changed their life from a spiritual walk perspective. I happen to be a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian and believe what I believe. You could be whatever denomination you want, but you believe in higher power. You believe in something, and your service, which you do, your talent and your gifts allows them to elevate their growth in that particular area. And that's my number one outcome. In this case, it's the focus on the sales department, right? Okay, that's my number one outcome. And my second outcome is just to have a good time. That this time you and I spend together, that this becomes a good use of your time. So I'm super excited. I'm glad that you're here. And we're going to go ahead and kick off and share what we are. Yes, we talk about the 5-part series and what's going on there, but I want you to step back. I started off with, why did you get in business? And I made a declaration, right? I said, you got in business for one reason and one reason only, and that is to change lives. And for some of you, that might be the case. Someone else listening saying, no, Shay, I got to business for a lot of different reasons. Now, for myself, or maybe it's you, maybe you got a business because you're like, you know what? I just want to have more freedom. Freedom to do the things that I want to do. Freedom to step up when I want to step up. And if that's you, I'm glad you're here. Maybe you got in business because you want to have more impact. And in order for you to have more impact in the world, you need to offer your gift, your talent, your expertise, or your voice. And in doing that, that will be so much more impactful than if you just stay silent. Or maybe you're here right now because you're like, Shay, it's about me generating more income. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you're a parent and you want to send your kids to a school of your choice. And it's going to take income to do that. Maybe you're watching right now and you're like me. Maybe you're a caregiver. Mother Dear is 79 years old. I have the honor and the privilege of being a caregiver. Mother Dear, Dr. Cammie B. Jeffers, retired at 55 after working for the government, the federal government, for 37 years in the same building, different floors, but same building, same street, right there on 14th and Independence Avenue in Washington, D.C., right across from the monument, by the way. But she retired at 55 and never worked another day in her life. And now at 89, we're in a position to make sure she's taken care of. So it takes income to do that. How many of you know that, by the way? Or maybe you want to write a check for one of the causes you believe in, and you want to support that cause. And so you're here, you start your business for income. I get it. This is going to benefit you. This is going to help you. Or maybe you're watching right now. It's all about leaving a legacy. And in order to leave a legacy, you have to build a foundation. You have to build a structure. And so that's why you got in business. That's why you're here. Whatever the reason is you're here is for those reasons alone. Now, if you're like me, the challenge is, I wanted more freedom, and I wanted freedom beyond security. Now, let me talk about when I say freedom. There's financial security, right? That means you've got 6 months, 12 months of all your bills in the bank. So if something ever happened to you for 12 months, you would be just fine, okay? And that's some pretty good security to relieve a lot of stress. Or maybe as you're watching right now, you want financial independence. You're buying a second, your third, your fourth home. Maybe you're in the market right now. Maybe you're in crypto. Maybe you're in trading. Maybe you're buying stocks. Maybe you're saving for putting more money away in your retirement. Whatever it is, that investment gives you independence beyond freedom. Whatever the reason is, we became entrepreneurs. And when I became an entrepreneur, I had a challenge because I thought, you know what? I'm going to get started and this won't be too bad. I'll follow a blueprint. I tell you my story in just a moment. But there was a challenge when I got started. And it was a moment that really became a life interrupter. Because once I became an entrepreneur, I found myself wearing a lot of different hats, by the way. I said, wait a minute. I got to do customer service. Like when someone has a problem, I've got to be there and answer that. I've got to answer the email. I got to take the phone call. I got to meet with the person. Whoa, I've got to do all the sales. Oh, wait. Or marketing. And marketing means different things to different people. There's branding, there's marketing, there's online marketing, there's all these components. Or at the same time, I've got to run the operation. You mean I've got to learn how to use an online database, a CRM. I've got to learn how to make sure that I'm tracking my P&L. I got to keep my receipts and all the other things that go along with it, the relationships, the phone calls, the meetings, and all of that. And me being a CEO, there's a department over here called sales. And jot this down in your notes. If you take your notes, put this down in your notes. Sales is the oxygen for every great business in business. And without sales, there's always more money going out than there is coming in. So the entrepreneur's reality becomes, while all this is going on, if sales is not coming in, then I do not have a business. And what a challenge that is. What a challenge that can be for anyone that's watching right now. So here's what I always say. Most CEOs, according to Shay Brown, don't have a sales problem. Now, I know you said, Shay, you're going to be talking about building a sales department system, and you tell me I don't have a sales problem? No, most CEOs don't have a sales problem. That's not the problem they have. What they have is they have a sales department problem. Because while everything else is going on in the business and we're excited about that, there's a lot of things that aren't getting done, by the way. There's calls you have to make back. There's follow up that has to happen. There's meetings at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, reschedule. Can you change it? And on your board right now, you've got sales goals because you've all taken the goal setting classes and you're already motivated and inspired, or you wouldn't be an entrepreneur. And yet, the one question that comes up over and over again is, where are the sales? Where are the sales? Where are they at? And here's what I do know. When I got started, I remember like it was yesterday. I didn't get in business to actually run a company. I didn't get in business because I wanted to. Here's the Shay Brown story and the problem that I had as it related to sales. And that problem was I got laid off. Now, I only worked for 2 companies my whole career. I worked for Citibank after undergraduate. I went to Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, and I didn't do sales. Then after graduate school, I worked for MCI. So I was in the telecom business while the telecom was booming. And I had risen to director. So I was a young whippersnapper, by the way. I'm under 30 years old, 26, 27, super excited, by the way. And something happens drastically. What happened drastically was I walked to my boss's office and he tells me, they're laying me off. Now, we'd had layoffs before, but I never thought it would be me. And I never had the vision to be an entrepreneur. I never had the dream of being an entrepreneur. I was just fine with doing what they told me to do. Go to school, get a good job, make some money, and that's it. And I really believed in my heart that I was good. I had the financial security. I had financial independence. Life was okay. But when I got laid off, my identity was taken away from me. Who I thought I was taken away from me. And at the time, I got hit with a punch I never saw coming. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been hit with the punch that you never saw coming? And it rocked me. The only thing is, when I was riding home, I decided that I wanted to start my own business. Now, it's not about me starting my business. What it's about is me getting started. And my father, Marshall Brown, has this saying, and I've adopted from him. He's no longer here. He passed away May 2nd, 2017. And one of the things he used to always say, and we were very, very, very close, is the best intentions don't equal the best results. So I had the best intentions. How many of you had the best intention you're going to go to the gym? Well, I shouldn't use that example. How many had the best intention you're going to spend less than you make? Well, let's not use that either. But you had the best intentions, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen for you, right? Well, I want to start a business. I had the best intentions, and then I just flat out ran out of money, burning through all my severance, burnt through some of my 401k. Don't judge me. I was betting on Shay Brown, and I was losing big, big, big time. And it was in that losing big time and not having money that all the people had told me that I had to generate some money, that I really learned that sales is the oxygen for every great business. I didn't have sales. And without sales, I couldn't pay my bills. Then I went through a divorce. Now, don't judge me, okay? I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. My first wife, I did say my first wife. So I have a first wife and a second wife. Don't worry, I'm on my third wife. Again, don't judge me. Please don't judge me, by the way. But I'm now married to Carla. We've been together 18 years, and we met in high school, and we reconnected again. And what a wonderful, wonderful ride it's been. She was that fantasy girl for me as a cheerleader back in high school. I can still remember those days at Garfield Senior High School. I wasn't a football player or a basketball player. I mean, I know I may look like I was, but I really wasn't, okay? And we connected. So that part of the story is okay. But on the other side, in this case, my first wife left. My sons lived with me at the time, and I run out of money. And I'm broke, dead broke. And I was ready to quit and give up. And I learned the golden rule in business. I want to share this with you before we get going, because this will, for some of you, this will help some of you. For some of you, this might not mean anything at all. But the golden rule in business is to never run out of money. And the only way not to run out of money is to make more sales. Because when you make more sales, you make more money. And while money is not everything, cash flow solves so many problems. So I had a problem. I didn't like to sell. In fact, I hated selling, but I needed it. I hated selling, but I need to pay the mortgage. How many of you out there, you hate selling, by the way? I hated selling, but I needed to make sure I could put food on the table. And it was at my lowest point. I was there working. I'll tell you the story upstairs, and my sons knock at the door and they say, Dad, someone's still in the car. I run down the steps. I look out there and there's my Lexus truck. Charlie is taking the Lexus truck. Now, this is not the first time he's ever come taking a Lexus truck. He's repoed the car before, okay? So it wasn't the first time, but nobody knocks at the door and lets me know he's doing it. This time, he just takes the car, okay? And I look over at my sons. I remember looking down and I said to them, don't worry. The car is just going to the garage. I lied. And it was in that moment that I had what I call the never again moment. Where never again did I want to find myself in a situation where I had to lie to my sons and feel like a loser as a father, a loser as an entrepreneur, a loser as a husband, a loser as just a human being. The never again moment. I want you to look at your own life and ask yourself, what was your never again moment? What was that one moment that you felt like in your own heart of hearts that you're like, I don't want to ever be here again. And you told yourself that. Now, I wish I could say it happened overnight, but it didn't. But I want you to hear my story so you understand it wasn't always this way. And then I find myself borrowing $5,000. There was this guy named Eric Lofthome out in Raleigh, not Raleigh, it was at Rockland, California. And he said, I can help you build a business. Now, sounded good to me. I'd read the email. Back then we had conference calls. Sounded good to me. So I went to my brother to borrow $5,000. I know. Don't judge me. $5,000. Now, $5,000 back in 2004 was a lot of money. $5,000 today, I guess it's still a lot of money, but not as much as it was back then. To go for 5 days to learn how to build a business. I get all the way out to Rockland, California. And here's the point. Here's what it means to you. Here's why I'm telling you that story. And then we're going to get into the 5-part of building the 5 revenue engines of really building a 7-figure sales team and generate revenue in your business. But first, I want you to know the story. I go out there and I ride in Rockland, California. There's only about 5 of us there. So I'm looking around like, where's everybody at? I thought it was going to be a room full of folks. But how many of you know that sometimes in these small rooms, not only do big ideas happen, but big action takes place? And in this room, he said something to me. Eric said something that changed my life. And I want you to think, how many ideas do you need right now to change your life? How many ideas do you need to change your life? Jot this down in your notes. 1. Put this in your notes. 1. Put this in your notes. 1. Why? Because one good idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas you know right now. And so in that moment when Eric gave me this idea, I grasped onto it. So here's the context. Here's the idea. Let me share with you. He said, Shay, you should focus on sales training. Sales training, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I'm the least person to focus on sales. In fact, I hate sales. And he said, you hate sales because of your mindset. And he gave me 3 words that changed the trajectory of my business. These 3 words became the philosophy of our company. Think about your company's philosophy of what you stand for, what you believe in. And it was 3 fundamental words that I've held on to. Well, that was 2004. If you're watching this now, whenever you see this, this is, 2026. You can do the math, over 20 plus years. And this is still the philosophy of our company. And it's not going to change. And it's changed a number of my clients' life. And I believe just this one idea alone, you only need one, could change the trajectory of your business. Just a mindset, just a shift, just a belief as it relates to sales as the founder of the company, so you don't have what I call founder dependency where revenue is on you. This one idea, and here it is. Selling equals service. Jot that down in your notes. If you're taking notes, put that in your notes right now. Like right now, put this in your notes, like right now, like stop what you're doing, slow down. You can even take a picture of this and put this in your notes. Selling equals service. Selling equals service. Selling equals service. Selling really is about 3 things. Selling is about 3 things. Now, think about selling equals service. You think about, you're not trying to convince anybody. You're not trying to persuade anyone. You're not trying to convince anyone. You're not trying to make someone do what they don't want to do. What you want to do is you're building a sales department is you want to have a sales philosophy as a CEO. And the philosophy can be, you can adopt the philosophy. You can take the philosophy. It's yours. Is that selling equals service. Why, Shay? Because people will pay you today. Jot this down in your notes. People will pay you today. No, seriously, put this in your notes. People will pay you today if you help them solve a problem today. You're going to be in the problem-solving business. Isn't this so cool? Isn't that a lot better than trying to get them to buy something they don't want to buy? See, selling really is about three things. When I say selling equals service, it's about three things. Right here on the slide, you can take a picture of this. Some of you might want to get a copy of this. You can just send me a DM over at I am Shay Brown, and we'll send you a copy of the presentation and the expanded version. I don't mind doing that. But selling is about three things. Selling is about solving problems. So your first thing as a CEO is your number one job as a CEO every day, according to Shay Brown, every day as a CEO on behalf of the sales department. Your job is to let people know in the world there's a problem. And the sales department's job, while you're doing something else, is to let everybody know every day there's a problem on the planet. It's why our company exists. Whether you work with us or not, we're here for that reason. Whoa, you can do that. The sales department can do that when you're not there. The answer to who don't have to be you. So now you got a team. The second thing is after you let people know that there's a problem, your second step for the sales department system is to share how you solve that problem, which is why your company exists. Again, whether they work with you or not, this is the problem you're solving on the planet. And number three, selling is about moving people to action. It's about asking them, hey, now that you know there's a problem and you agree, and now you know how we solve the problem. If you want us to help, here's how we work. That's all it is. This is how we work. Again, you don't have to work with us, but you know exactly how we work. Whoa, isn't that encouraging? Isn't that inspiring? Doesn't that just resonate with you? Selling is about service. Selling is about service. Selling equals service. So on today's presentation, I'm going to get back to my number one outcome. My number one outcome was to share with you the 5-part series of the sales department system. And there's 5 parts. Now, we call them the revenue engines of the sales department. 5. I call them the revenue engines of the sales department. Powerful. Maybe your first time in this conversation. I'm glad you're here. Let's walk through the 5 parts. Now, I might go deep on 3 at a time that I have, by the way. I'm not sharing a lot of stories here because I want to make sure that you as the CEO understand how to build a sales department that builds revenue without you. The number one challenge I see is that a number of founders, CEOs, everything is dependent on them. If they stop, the business stops. Like, for example, if I was asked you if you were to stop right now and not do any sales for the next 60 days or even heck 30 days, would your company continue to generate revenue without your involvement? If the answer is no, which for most it is, then you have a founder dependency challenge. And this revenue engine part will help you release that. And then there might be other bottlenecks in the business, and we'll talk about that. We do have an assessment that we do that we get a chance to dig deep with you, and that assessment allows us to see and understand any bottlenecks you have. And if that's you, you can go over to salesbottleneckfinder.com. It's SALES, sales bottle, BOTTLE, Nick, NECK. Finder.com. Well, they couldn't give me a harder thing to spell, could they? Salesbottleneckfinder.com. Just go over there now. And once you put the information into that website, I'm not going to bring it up here. Once you do that, there's nothing to buy, by the way. It'll take you to an assessment. And as a CEO, we need about 3 minutes of your time. You're going to answer these questions, and it's going to identify exactly what the bottleneck is in your business for where you are. And then we can customize it for you as well on the other end. So I'm really excited about that. Let's jump into the 5 parts. Revenue engines that you need to really build your sales department. Revenue engine number 1 is a sales representative. You need sales representatives. Now, sales representatives is what I call the people side of the business, the people side of the business. And why is that important? A sales rep is like family. They understand all your products and services. They understand your mission. They get to know you. And they're not a clone of you. They're not a duplicate of you. There's only one you, but they can go out there and evangelize the message. Now, You might be thinking, well, Shay, that's another expense. I got to yet hire someone else. No, that's not true. You can bring on a sales rep. Put this in your notes. They work on, put this in your notes. They work on, listen to me, founders, they work on 100% commission. That means they only get paid when you get paid. Isn't that a pretty good thing? And their number one job is to have sales conversations when you're not there. Revenue that doesn't depend on you. Now, you might be saying, okay, we'll say, but how do I afford that? I mean, how do we make the math work? And the math got to be mathing, or the plus got to be plusing, or whatever the young folks say these days. Here's how. Let's just imagine for a moment, for all intents and purposes, that you, with all your labor, all your brilliance, all your expertise, let's say you're generating, I don't know, $20,000 a month in revenue for the company. And you're the CEO. So you bring in, obviously, most amount of money. And you freaking should to a certain degree, because this is your baby. You're the visionary. This is what you want to do. You signed up to save the world. But let's just say $20,000. For some of you, it's a way higher than that. You're like laughing at me. And for others, you're like, shit, I get to 20,000. I'm good. Doesn't matter. So you bring in 20,000, but you hired a sales rep. We helped you train the sales rep. We helped you teach the sales rep. Now, you're not teaching them how to sell. You teach them how to serve. Teach them how to say there's a problem. He or she, they go out and they generate $20,000. So you generate $20,000. They generated $20,000. Now, here's where the difference takes place. You pay them a 20% commission. I'm just making that number up. Okay. Could it be 5, 10%, different. Some of you are in different industries, different places, different products, different services, different profit margins. But for the purposes of now, let's just say 20%. So $20,000 less 20% is $4,000. You pay the sales rep who went out there and generated revenue. Your labor wasn't involved. And there's still $16,000 left over to service whatever products and services they've sold. So now you got your 20,000 and there's 16,000. You weren't there. And then it happens again and again and again, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. This sales reps, this team of yours, this revenue engine generates revenue that doesn't include your labor. And I want you to imagine, how would your business be different if you was able to generate an extra $100,000 a month over and beyond whatever you're making today, because you hired just a sales rep. If that's you and you're out there, I want you to continue to listen in. We're not going to stop there. But that's one revenue engine that every one of you should put a goal. The next time you show up and elevate your growth mastermind, you have a sales rep with you. Make that decision. Okay. And then we're going to the next slide. And now we're going to talk about part 2. We call it revenue engine number 2. And revenue engine number 2 is sales affiliates. Now, sales affiliates are really your strategic partners. These are joint ventures. This is a super extension of your team, because they're bringing in qualified people who could use your products or services, and you don't even have to talk to them. They could be talking and having sales conversations with your sales rep. I mean, this is the beauty of it. Now, they're a little different. The sales rep, you remember, they work on 100% commission. They're all in. They're part of the family. Sales affiliates, I like to call them mercenaries. Now, it's not a bad thing. These partnerships are mercenaries, which means, hey, look, someone I know has a problem. I'm bringing traffic to you that you couldn't get, introducing you to audiences you don't know, and they need your products or services, and it's a win-win situation, which means me, the affiliate, maybe I do websites, and I partner with someone who is a business coach, and someone who needs a website needs a business coach. And so now we come together. And as a result of us coming together, we both win. And I want you to look right now at your revenue. Maybe when I talked about sales rep as one of the revenue engines, you weren't there. You get that. That's why that's number 1. You understand you can do it, and maybe you'll get a chance to connect with us and go to the salesbottleneckfinder.com website. And once you're there, you'll see where your bottleneck is, and we'll hire your sales rep. That might be it, some of you. Others of you are like, wait a minute, sales affiliate, that's the good step for me, because I already have joint ventures. I can use the software, Shay. I know how to bring it together. And if you give me the software and show me the tools and resources and structure and strategy and system, it's a definitely easy peasy breezy. Let's go get the revenue. And again, it may not be a new idea for many of you, but when you look at the system, this is your sales department system, it's a part of it that the revenue is not coming from that particular revenue engine. Congratulations. I'm glad that you're here. I'm honored that you're here. This It's good. So now, and you think about, well, Shay, why would I want to do that? Seriously, Shay, why? We think about Apple. And I know that God had to create the Apple computer and the Apple system because only a woman could do something that brilliant, that's smart, right? I think that too. That's really serious. Seriously, I do believe that. But if you look at Apple, you go into an Apple store and think about Apple only creates 30% of the products in there. The other 70%, they're affiliate. Heck, they don't even create the screens on their phones. They don't create the cases. They don't create some of the products in there. They are an affiliate for a lot of providers. Joint partnerships, strategic alliances, joint ventures. This is when it all comes together. Make a decision right now as a CEO. You're going to focus on your sales department. You're going to focus on sales. You're going to focus on your sales department. Focus on the sales department. Focus on the sales department. Because if you can't focus on sales as a CEO, I don't believe you can be in business. It's just not possible. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to number 3. I'm gonna tell my guy. Okay, I'm gonna go through some of this a little quicker because I want to make sure we get to it and make sure you get a chance to get that. So now we're gonna talk about sales ambassadors. Now, sales ambassadors, they're a little different. Sales reps, family, 100% commission. Sales affiliates, mercenaries, partnerships, strategic joint ventures, alliances. Sales ambassadors, well, they're not in it for the money. Yeah, people out there don't want the money. They're in it because they believe in your mission, your goals, and your objectives. They believe in the cause of your business and what it's doing. And for that reason, they're 100% in. And if that's you out there when you're listening, well, Shay, tell me, Shay, what are they interested in then? I need to know that, Shay. It'd be good to know what they're interested in. Well, I'm glad you asked. The sales ambassadors are interested in 2 things. Jot these 2 things in your notes. They're interested in rewards and recognition. They want to be recognized as someone who took on the big giant, took on big business. They joined this movement because they believe in. Because of their energy and their effort, they left a legacy in this movement that makes this movement better. They want to be recognized for that. They also like to be rewarded. In many cases, they like to participate in contests where if they serve the most amount of people, maybe they get to bring 2 of their people in. It's all about you solving this problem. And they're 100% all in. Now, if you're listening right now, you're like, Shay, I really like this. I mean, this is good. I'm there. I understand sales department system. Shay, you got me because in sales, I need a sales strategy. Got it for your system. I need a sales structure. Got it. We'll talk about that. I need a sales system because a system plus a strategy plus sales equals a successful CEO. That's a formula. Strategy plus a structure plus a system equals a successful CEO. And so we put together something. Again, there's no cost. There's nothing to buy. For some of you out there that might be listening, it's my free gift to you. And inside there, we did a deep training on each of the revenue engines. So that goes with the software that you can use, step-by-step how to do it. And that might be something you're very interested in. If you are, you can go over to CEOsecretsociety.com, CEOsecretsociety.com, CEOsecretsociety.com. Go over there now. Once you get there, just follow the instructions. You'll be taken to a private community. It's not in social media, where a handful of folks are focused on one goal, and that is building revenue that doesn't depend on them. As the CEO, they're going to release founder dependency. And founder dependency is you are dependent on the business is dependent on the founder to bring in the revenue. And that's you. You can join that movement. You can join that cause. You can join what we believe in. The next one is the digital sales systems. Digital sales system is your online revenue engine. Don't have time to get into that, but that's how does revenue come in? No one touches it. Now, you've heard this before. It's not a new idea, right? The internet exists, duh. AI exists, duh. All these systems are supposed to come together. I got it. And yet, when you go look at your bank account, it doesn't really reflect how good you are with the online sales systems that generate revenue even when you're offline. And if that's you and you're tuned in and you're listening right now, we're going to help you with that. Hopefully you follow the instructions. Maybe you went to salesbottleneckfinder.com, and you're taking the assessment to see what the bottleneck is. Maybe you're hearing it because I'm going over 5 revenue engines, and there's many more. And it's you. And so we want to help you with that. That's one of the things we want to do. And then the last system that I want to give you is really the customer champions. The customer champions is really my favorite, because it's how do you turn customers who are clients, who are happy, but they become the best sales teams. We know nothing sells like success. Facts tells, success sells. They send more referrals. They bring their trusted colleagues with you. They share what you're doing. And as a result, you get more customers. How do you make that part of the revenue engine that is truly not just a testimonial, not just a written thank you, not just a video that you get to go viral, but a way that works in harmony with the sales department that generates revenue? When we do that, we have a system, and systems beat goals every single time. Jot that down in your notes. Systems beat goals every single time, because systems are duplicatable, systems are repeatable, and systems is something that you can hand off to someone else. That's why you want to implement the sales department system. We created it because it didn't exist. Imagine that. In all my years on the planet, and I've got my AARP card, by the way, it didn't exist. Like, no, seriously. This wasn't an AI creation. This was Shay saw a problem, working with his clients, building sales teams, building revenue, learning how to sell. And not one person was talking about a sales department system. And that became our secret sauce. That became what separated us from our competition. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us different. And I want you to imagine for a moment what it would be like if you had as many qualified appointments on the calendar for your sales team and you didn't have to run it. What would that feel like? Like right now, like seriously, there's sales conversation taking place and you're not there, but you see it on the calendar. I tell you what, whether you believe it or not, it's a freaking amazing good feeling. Or imagine what it's like when you're generating consistent, predictable, reliable revenue, day after day, week after week, and easily month after month after month, because you implemented a sales department system, because you showed up for just this session you're in right now that you maybe didn't even know it exists. You're at the right place. You're at the right time. I believe this is your moment. I believe that this is your time, and you're ready for what you're about to step into now. Not yesterday, but now. Now, some of you are listening right now, and you're like, Shay, I heard you mention the complimentary department assessment. How can I discover my bottleneck and where it is? If you're just joining in right now, welcome aboard. Maybe you didn't hear the first part. Maybe you missed some of it, but you know deep down that your sales department needs the system that generates consistent, predictable, reliable revenue. If that's you, just go over to www.salesbottleneck.com. I'm sorry, salesbottleneckfinder.com. Salesbottleneckfinder.com. Once you get there, just follow the instructions. Just follow the instructions. It's going to be there. And in doing so, you're going to take this assessment, about 3 minutes of your time. It'll give you the analysis at the end. You'll see the bottleneck, and you'll see the recommendations that we're going to put in place that you can go do yourself. Isn't that pretty cool? Yeah, I love it. So here's what I believe in my heart of hearts. You don't need to become a better salesperson. That's the old way of thinking. There's a paradigm shift. It's not about just helping people get out of pain and pleasure anymore. You can't just work your way harder and harder and harder to get there. Where you are right now is you need to become a business with a sales department. The department runs without your labor. The department runs when you're not there. The department makes things happen day in and day out. So now you have the operations. You still got that. We talked about that in the very beginning. You still have the marketing. You got the leadership. You got the vision. You got the growth. But you see down there on the right-hand side, it says sales department. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Sales department equals profitability, because you are the CEO of the company. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve you. Thank you so much for having me here. Thanks for you for being a part of this community, a part of what Alexandra is doing. She's amazing. She's incredible. And she has a heart to give. She has a heart to serve. And I'm so happy to be a part of her community. We all come together to lift each other up. And when the question is asked, when do you stop learning? The obvious answer is you never, ever, ever stop learning. With that being said, Alexandra, I'm going to turn it back over to you. God bless every single one of you. Keep doing God's work, and I'll see you on the other side. Back over to you, Alexandra.
Thank you so much for this fantastic presentation, Shay. I mean, it is something that we all need as we're leveling up. We're getting to new aspects of our business, and sales is indeed the oxygen of our businesses. So thank you so much for that lesson. You guys make sure to go and check out that assessment at salesbottleneckfinder.com. So you can assess where the bottleneck is in your company currently, and reach out to Shay if you need some help with that. Shay, what's the best way that they can reach you, my friend?
Sure. For the persons out there right now, you can just DM me if you want. Right on social media, Instagram is my jam. I'm on all of them. But you can go to Instagram. Just go over to @IamCheBrown, @IamCheBrown, and just hit me up there. I know many of you like, Shay, I just want to contact you directly. You can go over to salesdepartmentsystem.com. Again, salesdepartmentsystem.com. Just hit the contact, and let's just sit down and have a conversation. Love to hear more about what you're doing. Pick up your blueprint while you're over there.
Thank you, my friend. Well, everybody, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Make sure you watch the replay, watch this fantastic presentation. Don't let it just hold you accountable. Let it be the motivator behind you taking action. You guys have a blessed rest of your day, and I will see you right here next week at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Growth Access. Be blessed.
Peace.